Hello there. I'm Trevor, and today, on Somewhere in the Middle, I'm at the beach. We're going to talk a little Jaws, 50th anniversary. So come along and join me as I share my love of the beach and my love of one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Not to mention, one of the greatest blockbusters of all time. Let's go. You're watching this video, we're here, we're talking Jaws 50th anniversary. What to you is the epitome of Jaws? What's your big through line when it comes to Jaws? For me, it's one of those films that sort of transcends cinema. It's the original blockbuster, right? It's also one of the best, like, something real, like in horror. You know, one of the best things about horror movies is something that's real, not just a guy killing guys or people killing people, murderous, whatever. Those have their place. But something that could actually tangibly happen, that people have genuine fears about.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
I'm a California native. I was born here, raised in California, and I've spent my entire life coming to the beach. When I was a little kid, the first 10 years of my life were spent moving around from beach city to beach city. And every summer I can remember was spent in the Central Coast, Pismo Beach, with my grandparents, and with my father as well. But the beach is a very important place, and I know for some, you know, Jaws is a reason why someone would not want to get in the water.
I don't know, I'm still pretty wheezy from the movie. It's really realistic, it's really crazy.
I think it might make you look around a little next time you hit the water?
A little bit, for dolphins, anything, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I'm not a water lover anyway. As far as the beach is concerned, I definitely won't be going in now.
Ever again?
Never. I won't even paddle in the water anymore.
Okay.
It's so much of that movie that hinges on just outstanding performances, you know, across the map in that film. Like, there is not a blemish in that film when it comes to acting and portraying the different aspects of what a town would have gone through when a shark attack hit a family on a holiday weekend like that. What the sheriff would feel, you know, what the townsman would feel, what the mayor, everything about that is just absolutely, again, it's a masterpiece of a movie. And there's a reason to celebrate Jaws for its 50th.
You all know me, know how I earn a living. I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. It's bad fish. Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills or tommycods. This shark, swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, down you go. And we gotta do it quick. That'll bring back the tourists. That'll put all your businesses on a paying basis. But it's not gonna be pleasant. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief.
Being that Jaws is celebrating its 50th anniversary, you know, this is a movie that has impacted 50 years of generations, or 50 years of people, right? It's made a dramatic impact on cinema. And one thing that kind of comes to mind when it comes to Jaws, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with the animal itself, but the three men You know, the 9-minute dialogue sequence towards the end of the film on the boat as they prepare to try to take out Jaws. And you come from like this like lighthearted scene into a really dark place in that movie.
1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail.
Early on this channel, I used to quote Black, like a doll's eyes, you know. And obviously that's from Jaws. If you haven't seen any of those earlier episodes, I'm proud of the content that I'm making on this channel. And those of you guys that are watching along and enjoying and sharing with me as I talk about things like movies I love, my family that I'm growing with, experiences that I'd like to take you along with, all those different things. I'm glad you're here. And like I said, the content I'm making is more for believes in legacy and life being for service is leaving a little bit of a legacy. So whether these are the best legacy, I don't know, but they're part of mine. All right, so where was I? All right, the three guys on the boat, you know, of this 9-minute sequence. You have Brody, Roy Scheider, Hooper, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw as Quint. And they're having, you know, a male bonding moment that just goes, it's one of the most riveting scenes in cinema, like 50 years. Yeah, that scene is just iconic. I think there's something to the it's not bravity isn't a word. How do we say the braveness, the tenacity, the choice of Spielberg to sit there for 9 minutes with these men around a dinner table sharing stories and getting to the heart of, you know, sort of the darkness of sharks and Jaws and the fear of these animals and also the respect of them.
So 1,100 men went in the water. 316 men come out. The sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb.
You know, that's something that on YouTube, like, you know, you make choices of how you, for me anyways, how I cut and edit things and what I do on this channel. And so it's one of those things that, you know, Jaws plays a role in all of that. On another avenue, as someone who's lucky enough to have never actually like had a negative interaction with sharks or be a friend to anyone in that regard, you know, I can understand, I greatly understand people's fear of sharks and the ocean and why so many, you know, even if they ever saw that movie growing up, being like, I'm not getting in the ocean, you know, Jaws is out there. And like in the same idea where I was just talking about how crazy Spielberg is, the fact that he like chomps up a kid and like, you know, the nude woman swimmer at the beginning of the movie is one thing, but then the child being murdered, that just that's like, you know, holy crap type of moment in film. And what is part of what makes that movie such a legacy film, why we're celebrating it here 50 years later, why I'm still talking about it, why people 50 years from now are going to be talking about it at its 100th year. It's that and important of a film. And you know, again, sitting at the beach, reflecting, enjoying some ocean, watching families play in the ocean. Jaws 50th came up because as of recording this, it's June 21st. Yesterday, June 20th, was the day that Jaws came out 50 years ago. So, and again, we're leaning right into summer season. People are going out and watching summer movies. Some of you guys have already probably been out and seen How to Train Your Dragon or whatever else is a big summer film for you this year. Maybe 28 Days Later this weekend, etc. And I feel that as a child of born in 77 and growing up in the 80s and 90s, my formative years, movies were a real big deal, movies and music. So, not that they weren't a big deal for other generations. Stick around on this channel as I may explore each of those generational gaps and what they meant to cinema. That's something that I may explore here on Somewhere in the Middle, because I just don't know. Again, this channel is me taking you on a journey with me as I think about things that matter to me and Jessica in our lives as we age and move on, get closer to our 50th. Holy moly. I'm a West Coast guy, yet Jaws is an East Coast film. I don't think it matters. I think it's timeless, or works on any coast, the idea of a shark attack. And to that point, like, how many great when animals attack films have there been that have tied to or rooted in films like Jaws? As some of you guys may know, run a film club as a high school educator. And this is outside of teaching social sciences. One thing that I started doing about a decade ago, this year is actually coming up, this October will be the 10th year of pulling this event off. But I do a Dusk Till Dawn marathon. 12 hours of horror from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. in our not haunted, but in our classic auditorium. Our auditorium was built during FDR's New Deal. So there's some fun to that. Regardless of that, every year I come up with themes. Essentially, I built 3 triple features, or 3 double features, should I say. 3 double features, should I say. One year was When Animals Attack. And of course, Jaws is what many people would think I'd shown. Instead, I showed birds and a film from Down Under, Razorback. I don't know if we could call it the Australian equivalent to Jaws, but much like Jaws, the animatronic that they use, the animal that they use in that film had some of its own quirks. The film may or may not make up for that, depending on how you feel about it. I think in the case of Jaws, any hiccups they ran into filming that movie, Steven Spielberg more than made up for. On the other hand, today, someone would probably just say, well, let's just CG it, which is kind of sad, rather than actually trying to figure out a way to make it work, But, there's, again, good and bad with CGI. Look at these guys, just chilling. Just chilling and waiting. This is chill lunchtime. This is like a squadron. Squadron of goals. Goal squadron. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then it gets hairy over here. 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. We got about 40 goals. 40 goals. So I'm walking down the beach, watching families play, and something just came to my mind, reminded me, in our life, at least, when I said East Coast, West Coast, I'm I've never seen a shark attack here at Bolsa Chica Beach. But what I have seen and have experienced is plenty of my kids getting stung by stingrays. Here at Bolsa Chica Beach, that is a thing. You do kind of have to tread lightly as you walk out on the water and make sure that you're shuffling your feet so that you don't get stung by a stingray. Kind of crazy. But again, it's the ocean and natural stuff that's happening as we, cohabitate with nature in our precious world. I hope you've enjoyed reminiscing with me a little bit about Jaws and its 50th anniversary. Have you ever seen Jaws? If you're watching this episode all the way through to now and you've never seen Jaws, one, I appreciate you sticking around and watching this episode all the way to the end. But two, after this, go watch it. If you subscribe to Peacock, it's there. If you don't, find somebody with a password. Ask them to share. No, just pay for it. How about that? It deserves it. You can rent it or buy it for not that much money. I promise. Anyways, thanks for watching this episode, and I'll see you on the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.